Hello all my Kenvians and welcome to a new episode of Discovering Steven Universe. Lars Head is pink now, and is also the name of the episode I'm going to be watching today. Lars was dead, and now he's not. He's turned pink, like Lion. And now let's find out what's going to happen.
It was an accident. I mean, I probably would have done that on purpose if I had known I could do that, but I didn't really ask your permission, so I'm sorry. Back to life. Are you tired? No. Do you feel good? No. Do you feel bad? No. I guess I just feel really freaked out. Well, I am.
Here's that.
At least we're on the same page here. Lars will change in hue. What a mystery!
She's adorable.
That's, pretty slow. But I think we can rule out Pink Zombie. Thank the stars.
Okay.
That's a zombie. Change color like... Do it again. Why is it doing that? Lars.
Is it like...
I think I know what this is.
Is it like Lion's mane?
No, you don't want me going in.
It works like Lion's mane! Holy crap! It's a different tree?
Juice. We drink it back on Earth. What? It's impossible. There's no way. See,
it's back.
Why can't it be? How am I supposed to go through my own head? Oh.
Good question. Can he do portals? No. Gonna break his arm.
Need us to help you get around. Besides, us off-colors stick together.
He's an off-color.
We'll get to Earth another way. We'll find an...
You brought me back to life. Just let me be somebody who deserved it. All right, I'll tell everyone.
Oh God, that hit me.
I can bring whatever you need.
Who knows what they're doing to Steven? Hi, Steven.
What are we going to do? I'm back.
Oh my God! Okay. Okay then. So, I mean, of any of the past 4 episodes, technically, this is the one that had the least actually happening in it. However, wow. Okay, so even Stevens has questions about what's going on, and he wants to be able to ask Lion as to what happened to him, which makes a lot of sense because I'd like to be able to ask Lion too. Oh my gosh, but yeah, so Lars Head is a portal to the pocket dimension, whatever it is, that lies within Lion's mane. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it has been there before, but for some reason I remember seeing Steven would pan around, or the camera would pan around that little island amongst all the grass, I guess, in the pocket dimension, and there was nothing around. All there was the pink grass. Or hair. Whichever. But now that he went through Lars Head, there's a second tree there. There's a second little hill / island, which for some reason I feel like is kind of an accurate description. But anyway, so yeah, it's like, but this point isn't until like later in my notes here, but I can't help but talk about it. So, is it possible, whatever happened to Lion in the past, which I can only assume means that Lion died at some point, probably of some sort of accident. I mean, they didn't exactly go into the idea that, you know, if something dies of old age, can it be healed? But then again, Lars has that scar, which might be on him permanently? I don't know. And Lion doesn't seem to have any, like, body markings anywhere he was, like, damaged or anything like that. So maybe Lion did die of old age, and Rose brought him back to life. Maybe. That's the best guess I've got, really. But anyway, I'm getting off track. The second island / hill that's in the pocket dimension now. So is that literally like one is created for every person or every creature brought back to life through the healing tears, and they're able to, or they become this second, and like their hair becomes a portal, which is symbolized by this tree / this little hill. Oh, my head hurts trying to wrap my head around all this, which it's not really that complicated. I'm just overthinking things. But let's get off that point for now. And I'll talk about some of my favorite parts of this episode. First of which came right at the beginning. And it's when Lars is awake and he, says, he's feeling weird. And then Steven hugs him and he's crying. And he basically says, "I'm sorry," because it's the idea that, Steven did it without Lars' permission, bringing him back to life. So he's worried that Lars might be upset about that, which, Steven has done some things that are, shall we say, questionable at best, such as, taking over the mind of Lars, which wasn't in and of itself a bad thing so much as the how far he went with it. That was against Lars' will, or even his knowledge. Whereas in this case, he brought him back to life. So just that simple idea of him saying, "I'm sorry for bringing you back to life," it's funny, but it's also just extremely sweet. And it's a sign that, yes, despite how much Steven has had to grow up, how much Steven has had to process in his young age, he still has a bit of that childlike mindset. Or maybe even not childlike mindset, just that truly caring, loving mindset. I don't know. I'm kind of talking in circles at this point because these episodes, wow. Okay, but moving on from there, I did really like when the off-colors were pushing the stone to block the entrance. That it seemed to have been the case that in general, gems are stronger than humans. In general. Of course, Steven has been the exception to that rule, him being half gem, and he has shown some amazing feats of strength. But even with two other gems pushing this rock, like, they're astounded at how strong Steven is and how quickly he's able to help push that rock into the way, or into the entrance. So I thought that was really cool. It's just not a huge point, but just a subtle little reminder of how potentially truly strong Steven is. if he's even surprising, other gems. But moving on from there, the concept, the idea that Lars is a zombie, which I mean, I guess it kind of goes with your definition of being a zombie. By all rights and all points of mythology, a zombie is not necessarily a mindless creature, but they lose a good portion of their mind's functionality, shall we say. And Lars hasn't lost any of that. So, I mean, as far as dying and coming back to life, Lars isn't wrong, although technically zombies are undead. But it's, yeah, I like his, I find his perspective on that funny, and also just really kind of love how he stays on that for so long. Like, it definitely seems like by the end of it, he's come to terms with, okay, he's not a zombie, or if he is a zombie, that he's not the kind of zombie that we all think of when we hear that word. But yeah. And well, the next point was me talking about Lars' hair and the tree, which I've clearly already talked too much about. But I was legitimately taken by surprise when Steven touched his hair and it glowed like how Lion's hair glows, when Steven goes into the little pocket dimension. That was just so cool. And I mean, in the previous episode, I made that comparison, like all of a sudden he was pink again. He had pink hair, and that reminded me of Lion. I didn't think, at least I don't remember, I may have forgotten in the past 15 minutes, however long it's been, but I don't think I made the prediction that he would have the ability to, like, have Steven go through his head into the pocket dimension. Oh, that was so cool. And then the moment where Steven, while the others are still gone, like before the other crystal gems came back with Steven, or with Greg and Connie, just when he pops out of Lion's mane and just the confused, somewhat terrified, and a bit annoyed look that Lion gives when it happens is just, it's perfect. It's perfection. And again, I know I say this every time Lion's in a commercial, in an episode, but just all of his expressions just perfectly cat-like. Like when a cat is confused, they will just kind of like look around and look like shocked and a bit annoyed at what's going on. Unlike my cats, for the most part, who would have run away instantly. Clearly, Lion is just like, what just happened? But, okay, not going on that too long. One part that really tied in my thoughts from the previous episode, that Lars has found these characters who he can relate to, these off-colors. They said at the end, it's like, us off-colors have to stick together, or we off-colors have to stick together, whichever it was. And I mean, more than anything, that just confirmed my thoughts and solidified it, showing that the off-colors themselves recognize him as one of them, as being a part of their group. And I thought that was really cool. I will admit one thing. I do think that perhaps they should have let at least one of the off-colors go through with Steven, just because clearly, what was her name? Let me find the note that I wrote down on. I got a little bit out of order. Road Knight, I think is her name. But yeah, they should have at least let Road Knight go, I think, because she seemed pretty enthused to get off of Homeworld. But I do understand, again, why, they all stuck together. And even Road Knight did seem like, in the end, that she was okay with staying and being a part of the group, working with Lars, or staying with Lars. Maybe not entirely as much as the others, but... yeah, I do feel like they should have at least let her go to Earth. But if we see them again, which surely we will, I'm interested to see if she has changed any. If, who knows, maybe being around Lars as he is now, she grows stronger. Or the whole group grows stronger. Who knows? Little, I forgot her name too. Paparazia? However you say her name. Maybe she will even be able to recognize what's going on when it happens, as opposed to several seconds, or I think one of them was close to a minute after it occurred. So, yeah, she's absolutely adorable, and I really do hope we get to see more of the off-colors going forward. And before I get to the final part of the episode, there was a line from Lars just before Steven goes back that, I mean, it shows how much he has changed as a character. Yes, a lot of this change happened in just the span of a couple of episodes. Like, a lot of this self-realization for him, a lot of this, him coming out and admitting his flaws. But one thing that just... let me find it here. It's when Lars says, before Steven goes back through, "You brought me back to life. Just let me be somebody who deserved it." That right there, that is amazing character growth. I mean, take the Lars that we met all the way at the beginning of the show and compare it to this Lars. I mean, other than the fact that he's died and come back to life, but just everything about him these last few episodes is just night and day. He has become not necessarily a new character, but he has changed who he is to be a better person. He has changed his outlook, his perspective, to the point where he no longer, when it comes to fight or flight, chooses flight. I mean, if it's a matter of, like, while they're on Homeworld and they need to avoid the shattering Robinoids, yeah, I'd say that it probably would come to flight if it meant keeping, the others safe. But, like in the previous episode where he, jumped on and went on the attack, it's like, when it comes to fight or flight, he chose fight. And everything about the way the character seems now says he's a protector. He's actually come to be more like Steven. Steven, his weapons, he always uses the shield. Connie's the one that always uses the sword. Steven is the defender. And in a way, it seems like Lars has become a defender, someone willing to protect others, even at the cost of his own life. And it did cost him his life. So, yeah. Man, these episodes are just crazy. Oh my god. But then that brings us to the final moments of the episode when Steven returns home. And it was kind of adorable in a cartoony way. It's like Steven is standing there and Pearl starts ranting about like, you know, how she, like, you know, they would never find him, it's hopeless. I did find that a bit odd because they were all looking where Steven was, or at least it seemed that way. But irregardless of that, just that moment with them tearing up, Connie just being in shock, it was a really nice moment, and a moment that was over way too quickly. I do wish that even if it was just a few seconds longer, that the moment had lasted just a bit longer with them embracing him after he came back. I wish they had kept that. Or I wish that had happened. But who knows? The next episode may start up with, like, right where it left off, where they're hugging him. It's hard to tell. Like the last few episodes basically have. So who knows? Maybe that's the direction they're going to go this season. You all know better than I do at this point. And speaking of the rest of this season, welcome to Season 5! After I'm 4 episodes in. Wow. So yeah, these episodes have been a ride without a doubt. Just a huge roller coaster, just an amazingly done story. And I can understand why they did it as an hour-long event. I do apologize to everyone that I've cut this episode into these videos into 4 parts instead of doing like, you know, more than 1 episode per video. But honestly, I felt like there was so much to unpack per episode that it just wouldn't serve them justice to have not given them individual attention. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's the way I feel on it, honestly. And also, if the previous episode had ended where Lars died, and then they cut over to this episode and he was and then he gets brought back to life, that would have been an instance where I had jumped to the next episode without a doubt. But since we had that bit of moment of, still shock, but it's like the disaster was averted, I felt like it wasn't, I wouldn't have been doing this episode an injustice by focusing on the episode Off Colors first. So yeah, I don't know why I'm explaining this here at the end, but anyway, everyone, this has been amazing. I am really looking forward to going through Season 5 and getting caught up with you all. Apparently, before December 17th, because apparently something's happening. Don't tell me what in the comments, because someone told me to specifically not go look at the Cartoon Network Twitter page. But, yeah, I'm going to do my best to get caught up. Fingers crossed I can. But, everyone, thank you so much for being here for this episode of Discovering Steven Universe. Let me know your thoughts on this episode, the 3 that came before it, just this entire Wanted event as a whole. Let me know your thoughts on my thoughts if you so wish. And yeah, I'm just going to end it there. Until next time, everyone, for Dewey Wins, which is a weird... I don't know. There's something more may come of it, but it seems like such a weird title after what has come these last 4 episodes. Really the last 6 if you include the end of Season 4. But, yeah. Until next time, everyone, I am PapaKenn, and I will see you on the next episode of Discovering Steven Universe. I'll see you then.